Hi, this is Mr. Whaley, helping you with review part 3 of 3 for Forensic Science Semester 1 exam. This is a 200-point assignment. Answer the review questions on the right. Anything in red should be red/blued and modified by the student to the best of their ability. Each valid answer is worth 1 point here. On the final, some questions will be worth more points than others. Read/blue these instructions. So I would turn those instructions blue. If I were you, I'm going to turn them back to red. For me, what percentage of human fingers have each main type? That would be 5% for the loops. No, sorry, not 5% for the loops. Arches is 5%. I'm just going to give you an example there. You can search that or check Google Classroom for that answer. What makes fingerprinting stand out as a method of identification in forensic science? Fingerprinting began 6,000 years ago. Well, it didn't. But it doesn't matter when it began. That doesn't really give it strength for using it as a method. Fingerprinting developed once women got involved. Well, now women got involved with identifying the contents of stars. And Einstein himself, his work was based on their work. But it's kind of irrelevant that they're women in that sense, in the sense that it's used as a method. And in the case of fingerprinting, I don't know whether it was anything to do with women getting involved, but that wouldn't be a reason to use that as a method. Fingerprints remain individually unique through an individual's life, even after injury. Now that's a reason that we would use this as a method of identification. So delete those other two answers. They're irrelevant. Delete irrelevant answers. What makes fingerprinting stand out as a method of identification in forensic science? Well, classification methods are used to narrow down suspects. That's true. That's very true. Matching up fingerprints is easy work. Easy? Nothing's easy, especially scientific method. It's straightforward, but it's not easy. And that wouldn't be a reason anyway, okay? So practice isn't necessary. Comparisons are made. There's another easy question. Just throw those out. We just need this one. Identify the fingerprint classified under whirl. Delete irrelevant answers. Okay, identify the fingerprint classified under whirl. I look at this one and see a swirling in the middle of the fingerprint. It must be a whirl. I can even tell what subtype it is. I can see these two deltas here. But it's definitely not a loop if it's got a delta on each side, or an arch. Okay, and then this one, that's an arch. The lines come from one side and they leave on the other side. And then there's an arch shape here. Okay, identify the fingerprint classified under arch. Well, we just looked at that one, didn't we? That's the same kind of pattern. That's the arch, that's the whirl. This is a loop. They're coming in on one side, they're looping back out that same side. There's a delta right here on the opposite side of the loop. Identify the fingerprint classified under loop. Well, we already found that, didn't we? So that's that one. Identify the fingerprint classified under whirl. I think we've seen this one before, but now there's 3 choices. Oh boy. But yeah, it's the center one in this case. It's got a delta and a delta with a whirl in the middle. So that's a kind of whirl. We'll look at that here in a second. Identify the fingerprint's subclass. So we already know it's clearly an arch. That's the class. But what's the subclass? Well, the subclass, I would say it's not a plane arch because that's a steep. I would make with my fingers like a 90-degree angle. And I would say for sure if it's less than a 90-degree peak here, which it is, it's more acute than that, then I would call that tented. Or you could just say it looks like a tent. Identify the fingerprint subclass. This is a whirl. What subclass? It's a plane whirl because it's got a delta on each side. If it were central pocket loop whirl, it would have a whirl in the middle and loop going around it where they come in on one side and go out the same side, and then there'd be a delta just on one side. Double loop whirl, you'd find 2 loops in the middle that swirl around. Accidental whirl, it'd just be all over the place. I don't even know if I've seen an accidental yet, for sure. On a person, I mean. Identify this fingerprint's subclass if it was taken from the right thumb. Okay, right thumb. Give a thumbs up with your right arm. make a fist with your thumb in the up and feel your top bone there. That is your radius. Now, if it's your right thumb that we're looking at, that loop goes to the right side. So now turn your thumb inside like you're going to do a thumbs down, but on your way there, as you do thumbs down, well then feel your top bone. So the bone in your arm that's now on top, that's called your ulna bone. So when we have thumbs up, grab that bone, that's radius. When we have thumbs down, the bone now that's on the top is the ulna. So by your little finger. So these loops on this right thumb point to the little finger, or that bone that's typically on the lower side of your forearm, called the ulna. So that's an ulnar loop. Now the next one, identify this fingerprint subclass if it was taken from the left index finger. Index is your pointy finger, first finger, is it between your thumb and your middle finger. So that finger, if it's that finger, well then it's opening towards your thumb side, which is your radius bone on that hand. So that's a radial loop. So ulnar loop and radial loop. Now, did you complete assignments 3.1 and 3.2? Yes or no? Which resources did you use to complete 3.1? Which resources did you use to complete 3.2? Probably 3.2. Maybe this video would help, or for both of those. How do you set up your work environment so that you have the best chance of success? It's a how question, so it should be a process. My process is I plug my laptop in, I plug my phone or my microphone into my laptop. My microphone reminds me that I'm serving students. They're listening. They're there, even though I can't see them necessarily. And I'm here to serve them, and that keeps me focused on my work. Also, I stand up. I take a breath when I need it, and I have a pen and paper handy so that I can quickly write something down to engage my brain, help me concentrate if it's like a recurring question I get from students or something like that. Why do you do your work? Do I do it for my teacher so the school will leave me alone? Do I do it for my own learning and satisfaction? Do I do it for a larger audience to get feedback so I can improve? I do it for those second and third ones. So I would leave both of those and I'd delete that top one. Maybe I do that one too, to be honest. I mean, not my teacher, but my supervisors. I don't know if I even do that much. Don't worry about it. Use the levels of thinking house and your experience investigating Nutshell, Forensic Files, and the Space Alien Dad to answer the questions below. So there's that thinking house. I don't know if I couldn't get the preview to come out for it, but I'm going to run through these quickly, but that's the link there. Wait, that's not what I wanted, maybe. That looks weird to me. I have to fix that in the link, but you get the idea. It's that house. If you need to design the investigation you will use to collect and analyze/process your observations in the Nutshell crime scene. Okay, that was something we did. What level of thinking do you need? If I need to design that, that means making steps like, okay, first I'm going to watch the documentary. Next, I'm going to go to this website and read what the witnesses said. That's going to require probably level 2 thinking. Yeah, that's going to be level 2 thinking. If you need to, and it's level 2 thinking because I need to connect the dots. I need to come up with an analysis that allows me to collect different points of data so that I can see what's wrong in that crime scene. But I don't need to put it together yet. If you need to explain how all the evidence connects using logical reasoning, what level of thinking do you need? Well, that's level 3. To be able to connect it and to distinguish between, like, okay, well, these items of evidence support this conclusion, but these ones don't. These ones are kind of neutral. They don't support it or cancel it. Then this other one is kind of different. It might call into question my claim statement. That's explanation, how all the evidence connects, and I think that's level 3, logical reasoning. If you need to write a claim statement about what you think happened at the crime scene, what level of thinking do you need? I think that's level 1. I think that's just make a sentence like, I think this was a homicide, or you can say a homicide occurred at this location. at this time on this day. So that's a claim statement, and that's level 1. I suppose to get to that statement might require level 3 thinking. So we'd collect our evidence, we'd analyze it, we'd give reasoning for how it all. I'll say that again. We'll collect our evidence, we'll analyze it, we'll think through the reasoning, logical reasoning for how it all connects, and then we come to our claim statement. So behind it is levels 2 and 3 thinking for sure. If you need to write a background summary based on what someone else has written on the internet, what level of thinking do you need? Well, that's level 1, no question. They've done level 2 and level 3 thinking, maybe, or maybe not. But for us to just identify, oh, that's a summary of what's happened so far on this investigation, well, then you can apply your level 1 thinking. So there's part 3 of 3 for the Forensic Science Semester 1 exam. All the best. Hope you do really well on that. Each one of these that are completed, you get a point. So 1 for each row, it's a point if you answer with valid answers. And be sure to change these from red to blue or some black, something I can read and know that you didn't just mindlessly just leave it or something. Thank you.